Hi everyone, my name is Heliosar Bisonyigag and good morning. Today, I will present to you brief presentation about using statistical software and reference management. But first, what is statistics? So, statistics is the science of collecting, analyzing, interpreting, and presenting data. So for collecting data like surveys, experiments, observation, and existing records, and for analyzing data, organizing and summarizing the collected data. In interpreting data, understanding the meaning of the analyzed data, and lastly, presenting data, communicating the findings to others through reports, presentations, visualizations, and other means. So, statistical software SPSS, Statistical Package for the Social Sciences, used for data management, statistical analysis, and data visualization. The R project or the R tool, it's a free and open source programming language and software environment specifically designed for statistical computing and graphics. Lastly is the Python. It's a general purpose programming language that has become incredibly popular in the field of science, including statistical analysis. So it's SPSS. Again, it's a powerful tool program used for data management, is the statistical analysis and data visualization. So the functions of the SPSS are clean your data by identifying and handling missing values, outliers, and inconsistencies, transform variables, create new variables, or recode the existing ones, statistical analysis such as descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. That's descriptive analysis, which are the frequencies, mean, standard deviation, and etc. For inferential statistics, these are the t-test, ANOVA, regression, chi-square, and many more. And next is it can visualize your data. Lastly, it can also interpret the output that is generated and make interpretations and draw conclusions. So SPSS is applicable to social sciences, businesses, healthcare, and education. Next is the R project statistical tool or the R. So it's also a powerful tool for data analysis, visualization, and machine learning. So the functions of the R project tool or the R is the R's console, which it's like the window like plane in the Excel spreadsheet where the R is waiting for you to tell it what to do. Then the R script is the same function of the macro in Excel if you are familiar with it. It also can manipulate data, statistical analysis of it, and visualize the data. This tool can be also applied to statistical computing, data science, researches, and businesses. Last of the software is the Python. So, general purpose programming language that has become incredibly popular in the field of science, including statistical analysis. So, it has the same function such as the um, data manipulation, statistical analysis, and data visualization. So, Python can be also applied to data science projects, large scale data analysis, and customizable solutions. So, the key differences of the three are this: it is the summarized or simplified aspects of the three software tools. For the type, the two latter that I have mentioned are free, while the SPSS is commercialized. In other words, you have to pay for the softwares. For the focus, the three are for statistical purposes. However, the SPSS concentrates only for social sciences, while the other two have other function or focus such as graphics. And then for the interface, the only friendly tool is the SPSS, while the two have um, complexities or have a higher, steeper learning curve. So for learning curve, it's the most easy among the three is the SPSS, while the two have deeper and needs deeper understanding. In other words, it is more difficult to learn and requires a lot of effort. For flexibility, the SPSS has its limitation in customization, while the both R and Python can be customized and flexible. For cost, again, the SPSS is a software of the three that requires for you to buy. And then for the community, SPSS for smaller scale of data, and the R and the Python for larger and much more larger or bigger scale of data. For data handling, SPSS for basics, and the other two are both excellent for handling data with complexities. Next is for the visualization. SPSS for simple visualization capabilities, while the R have excellent visual capabilities. For machine learning, SPSS, since it has limited customization, the learning capabilities of the software is limited too, while in contrast, the R and the Python has the strong learning capabilities since you can manipulate or modify or give manual commands for it to learn. Next is the software application type of research. So for quantitative research, these tools can be all used since they are designed for statistical analysis. So for qualitative research, though these tools are designed for quantitative type of research, both R and Python can be used for some aspect of qualitative research, while with the help of a specialized package. So for qualitative research, there are applications or software that is more suitable or applicable for this type of research, which are the NVivo and the Max QAD. For examples for SPSS, R, and Python. So here are the best examples that I can give for us to learn much more easier or simpler. So for SPSS, you conducted a survey on customer satisfaction with a scale of 1 to 10. So you want to calculate the average satisfactory score. So for you or for us to calculate the data or to get the satisfaction score using SPSS, you need is first again we need to download or we need to buy the SPSS and then open it. After opening it, we need to enter the data, or we can simply import uh, the file in Excel if it is already drafted in there. So after importing the data or entering the data, you can click the analyze. After analyze descriptive statistics, next is descriptive. So next, after that, select the satisfaction score variable and then click OK. So SPSS will generate a table showing the mean satisfaction score like this one. So the mean of the customer survey is 7.5, and the standard deviation is 1.2. For the R, so you want to visualize the relationship between the students' study R and exam scores. So here is the sample code. So after entering this code, it will generate or show the relationship between the study R and exam scores in graph form like the one showing in the screen. For the Python, so the scenario is you want to predict house prices based on square footage. So again, um, you must put the code on the system, and after putting that code, and you must click the OK or proceed. It will generate a tab or a graph showing predicted house prices based on square footage. Next topic we will discuss is the reference management software. So what is reference management software? So it helps researchers and writers organize, store, and cite bibliographic information. So reference management software again helps the researchers organize, store, and cite scholarly sources. So first, collecting data, gathering information from various sources, organizing, storing, and categorizing references with metadata, citing, generating citations in different academic styles, and creating bibliographies, automatically generating formatted bibliographies. For Zotero, this is the first software that we will discuss of the two. Zotero software is an open access, easy to use reference management tool that serves as your personal research assistant and helps you to collect, organize, cite, and share your research sources. So the functions or the core functions of the Zotero are to collate, again, to organize, cite, create bibliographies, collaborate, and annotate. So Zotero software can be used by the students, researchers, and academic writing. So EndNote, this is the second application or software that we will discuss. The EndNote software, a commercial reference management software that provides comprehensive tool for managing and citing references. So the functions of EndNote are to give you a comprehensive collection, advanced organization, powerful citation features, strong collaboration, advanced searching, and filtering. So EndNote can be also used by the researchers, most especially by the faculty and the librarians. So here are the key differences between Zotero and EndNote. So for cost, Zotero is free, while the EndNote is a subscription based, meaning you have to buy for it, no, like the SPSS. For user interface, Zotero is much more user friendly, and EndNote can be much more complex or difficult to use. For community support, Zotero can be used in large and active community, while the EndNote can be also used in large and active community, but it is much more applicable to institutions such as schools, universities, libraries, and etc. For customization, Zotero has uh, high customizable with add-ons or You can modify with add-ons, and the EndNote is also can be modified or customizable, but it may require practice or no technical expertise. So for collaboration, both have collaborative features, but the EndNote have much more or stronger feature when it comes to collaborating. Lastly, the citation styles. So both have a wide range citation styles, but EndNote have much more extensive support of it. The citation styles like the APA, the Chicago. Next is this are the uh, simple application or the for the examples for Zotero and EndNote. For Zotero, the scenario is you are writing a research paper and need to organize and cite sources efficiently. So first, you need to install the Zotero and the Zotero connector for your browser. When you find an academic paper or website, you can click the Zotero browser extension to save it. And then after that, you can open the Zotero itself, where the reference is automatically saved. So in Microsoft Word, use the Zotero plugin to insert citations. So after that, you can click the edit or edit bibliography to generate a reference list in your chosen citation style, like the APA, MLA, Chicago, etc., and many more. So for EndNote, um, you are conducting a literature review and need to organize PDFs and generate citations automatically. So again, you must open the EndNote or the application and create a new library. After that, you can click the import references to add PDFs of research paper. And then EndNote extracts metadata such as the title, the author, and the year automatically. So in Microsoft Word, again, you can use the EndNote cite while you write plugin to insert citations. Then click format bibliography to generate the reference list. So the key takeaways. So Zotero excels in user-friendly affordability and strong community support, while the EndNote boasts advanced features, robust collaborations tool, and is a widely recognized in academia due to its strong institutional support. So thank you. That is all, everyone. Thank you for listening, and I hope you learn and you get something from my presentation.